Welcome, everybody, to the 2024 BCA Hall of Fame Banquet and Induction Ceremony. My name is Freddie Agnir, and it is my pleasure and honor to be here as your host and MC tonight. We have a great location here. First time we've been here at the Caribe Royale, so this is just a fantastic location. We're also very honored to be here on the night before the big weekend of the Mosconi Cup 2024.
Go Team USA!
The BCA Hall of Fame banquet is always a great celebration as we get to celebrate our heroes. And there's a special night tonight, again, because of the Mosconi Cup. Today we have the past Hall of Famers, our present Hall of Famers, and our future Hall of Famers for sure are in front of us. It is such an important part of pool to have our heroes up in lights. Because without our heroes, or I should just say with our heroes, that is the target for all the rest of us, whether it's the players or the people in the industry. A great target to strive for excellence in our sport. So for the BCA Hall of Fame, to give you a little more insight on the Hall of Fame, we have a little video for you to enjoy. So we're gonna roll that up. If you can direct your attention back to the back screen.
We're having a lot of fun. See, and it's a wonderful thing when a man can bring his wife or his girlfriend or his children into a place and they all can play. See, that's the secret of life, is playing, not working. Working is for substance.
Well, I've probably said enough. Such a happy day for me. You know I still miss competition. Hope for just one more championship match with Lester. What I wouldn't give for that, just one more time to face the challenge, face the pressure, and perform like you know you can. What a thrill that would be.
that as a little girl sitting next to my dad watching snooker on television, that I'd be standing here tonight, another continent away, being inducted into the Hall of Fame. It's an unbelievable feeling. I feel so much pride standing here before my family, my friends, my peers, and everyone associated within this great sport. It's a very special evening.
Now, more than enough for me. I hope I haven't forgotten anyone. I hope I've thanked everyone. I am personally really grateful to be here. It's been a special day. I've got a green jacket and a ring. I'm made up. I've never had a green jacket and a ring before. And I'm really grateful for all your listening, and let's hope this game can go further than it's been before, because now is the time, my friends. Now is the time. If the networks get behind us in the same way as they get behind basketball, football, soccer, why shouldn't we be the beneficiary? We have to ask why, and we mustn't accept second best. I wish everyone God's best for the rest of the season. Let's hope this game gets big, and thank you once again for this enormous honour bestowed on me. Thank you very much.
Because one of my favorite stories with Earl was the first 10 times I played him. He came to Hawaii, we played, Brian did an exhibition. I was just like 19 or 20. And so I played Earl, and then he said, "You're gonna be a great player one day." Then another 7, 8 times I played him, and I lost Hill in tournaments, US Open, wherever it was. And I lost Hill to him like the first 8, 9 times. And every single time Earl was like, "You're gonna be a great player one day. Just keep going." And finally I beat him. He's like, "You lucky, I can't believe you." I was like,
Then the next guy, that takes forever. I said, I don't want to wait. I want to go. I want to see what we can do. So Aaron and me, we made a pact. He brought in the checks from work, his salary. I brought in the winnings from pool. We combined it. We made a pot, and we start going after these guys, man. Steve McKinnish, Jason Miller, who did we play? Eric Durbin, of course, Tony Watson. Those guys, right? Those guys were at just above me, and I had to go play him if I wanted to try something. And we made some big scores in the beginning. We went up money, we were pumped, and then of course we got overconfident. Yeah. So we started playing the Filipinos.
Yes, thank you. I've been playing this game for 40 years, and I've been covering it for a little over 20 years, and I can tell you without hesitation, I would rather not be anywhere else except for right here, right now, at the Hall of Fame banquet. I'm not sure what drew you all here, but clearly I think we have all the same ideas. Tonight we honor 3 fantastic people, 1 in the greatest player category, and 2 in the meritorious service category. Shane Van Boening, a generational talent. The late Mark Griffin. And Mike Panozzo. With these three, we cover an awful lot of pillars of this sport. Of course, the greatest player category, but we also celebrate equipment, venues, tournaments, organizations, and journalists. The journalists who capture all of the stories, all of our wins, and all of our agonies, all of our high points, and unfortunately, all of our low points. But we can't appreciate the high points without getting some of the low points. And we put it all down in stories so everybody else can read about them from here and in the future when we're all long gone. Tonight's being brought to us by the BCA and the USBMA, the United States Billiard Media Association. The BCA is the United States and Canada's trade organization, establishing its name in 1948, an offshoot of the BBIA, the Bowling and Billiard Institute of America. Their effort was to promote the sport, standardize the rules, and through their networking, strengthen, enhance their members' success. By enhancing the member success, that in turn enhances all of the sport. The Billiard Congress of America is also the member organization of the WPA, which hold our World Championship and is the connection to the IOC, the Olympic Committee. Here representing the BCA is the board chairman, Philippe Singer. And the media manager, Ben Sutherland. And the USBMA, the United States Billiard Media Association, is dedicated to elevating the visibility of billiards in the media at large, and they consist of professional print, TV, radio, public relations, and internet personalities who cover our cue sports. Among the association's function is the election of billiard media members to the BCA's Hall of Fame board for the purpose of nominating, voting, and electing players and notable figures to the BCA Hall of Fame. For those members that are of the USBMA, please stand so we can recognize you. If you have any questions on the voting process and nominating for next year, please contact the USBMA or Mike Panozzo or myself. All right. So tonight's event is only possible through our sponsors and their generosity. So for those of you out there, please support the sponsors and go ahead and talk to them and see what's up, what's going on in the future, what's their long-term plan, and see what they have to offer. For our presenting sponsors, I'll name these out, and you can clap if you want. Each time, we'll just figure it out as we go along. For our presenting sponsors, from Q-Tech, the business development manager, Brett Garson. From Imperial Billiards and Rasson Tables, the creative and marketing manager, Deanna Palma. From Matchroom Multisport, the group director, Emily Frazier. From Tweetin Fiber, the president, Skip Nemechek. There you go. From the American Pool Players Association, co-founder, Terry Bell. From Championship, the Vice President of Sales, Bill Dunn.
Billy D.
And from Andy Cloth and Howe Billiards, the owners, Andy and Jenny Lean. Not present tonight from Simonis USA is Ivan Lee, the president. For our corporate sponsors, from CODA, the CEO and COO, respectively, Wes and Jamie Bond. There you go. From Q Sports International, the CEO, Ozzie Reynolds. Gotta stand. From Luby Publishing, the president, Keith Hamilton. From the Valley National 8-Ball Association, the executive director, Greg Elliott. There he is. And from Olhausen, the owner, Dan Bourget. And not present today, Q6 International owner Eric Weber, and from Diamond Billiard Products, Vice President Chad Charlo. Ladies and gentlemen, your sponsors. A big shout out to Matchroom and Emily Frazier, as this is the weekend of the Moscone Cup. And we're very thankful that we were able to join in that by participating here with the Hall of Fame. I'd like to introduce the teams from Team Europe and Team USA if they're here. I will shout them out anyway. In his first year, for Team Europe, in his first year, definitely not his last year, he's made a big splash. From Denmark, the Viking, Mickey Krause. Yeah. From Albania, the Albanian Golden Eagle, Eklent Klentikaci. From Spain, El Matador, David Alcaide. That's David Alcaide for the rest of you. Also from Spain, FSR, El Ferrari, Francisco Sanchez Ruiz. And the team captain from Team Europe, two-time MVP from Connecticut by way of Glasgow, Scotland. It's the Eagle Eye, Jason Shaw. From Team USA, returning back to the Moscone Cup from Wisconsin, Tyler Steyer. Also returning back to the Moscone Cup from Dayton, Ohio, the banker, Billy Thorpe. Making his second appearance from Team USA, from Southern Indiana, the ghost, Fyodor Fedorgorst. And next, somebody you'll hear a lot about tonight, making his 18th appearance at the Moscone Cup, which is a record all by himself at this point. It's SVB, the South Dakota Kid, Shane Van Boening. And the team captain, also a two-time Moscone Cup MVP. He wants to remind us that the world is in desperate need for more badasses. From Lubbock, Texas, by way of Paducah, Kentucky, it's the bluegrass badass, Skylar Woodward. Ladies and gentlemen, your Team USA and Team Europe Moscone Cup teams. And now just a few more people before we get started on dinner that I need to make some kind of introductions to, our past Hall of Famers that are in attendance. Starting from my right, all the way to the right here, he was not only a terrific professional player, but is one of pool's greatest entertainers, a legendary world trick shot champion traveling the globe, entertaining millions, a singer and songwriter, and the greatest finger pool exhibitionist I've ever seen and everybody else has ever seen. Inducted in 2005, the Tennessee Tarzan, Mike Massey. Known as the godfather of formal pool instruction, this gentleman has taught and coached thousands upon thousands to play, from amateurs to professionals, several of whom are in this room, including myself. A tremendous player in his own right, he is credited with creating the outline and curriculum for organized pool instruction. Inducted in 2022, Jerry Bryseth. A master player and instructor, the next Hall of Famer is best known for artistic pool exhibitions, being instrumental in the development of ESPN's trick shot magic shows, which tended to get the highest rating of any broadcast billiard events. A true global ambassador of the sport, inducted in 2017, it's Dr. Q, Tom Rossman. She is one of the Women's Professional Billiards Association's top stars through the 80s, winning multiple titles, including the U.S. Open 9-Ball Championship, the WPBA Nationals, and the World Straight Pool Championship. She's also spent 20 years on the WPBA board, 6 years on the WPA board, and several years on the BCA board. Inducted in 2016, the Texas Belle, Belinda Calhoun. This legendary player is often cited as the most well-known pool player outside of the pool community. A multiple WPBI Classic Tour winner, U.S. Open champion, and former #1 player in the world, she was recently featured in ESPN's 30 for 30. She's also recently published her memoirs and is one of only 2 players with an undefeated match record at the Moscone Cup. Inducted in 2013, the Black Widow, Jeanette Lee. The co-founder of the American Pool Players Association, which helped to revolutionize pool and making it accessible to amateur players in every walk of life. The American Pool Players Association, the APA, is the largest amateur league in the world. Along with his business partner, the late Larry Hubbard, he was inducted in 2010, the great Terry Bell. He played in one of the greatest eras in history of American professional pool. And in 1989, and we talk about this every year, I think people say that he won half of the tournaments. I'm pretty sure it was like 3/4 of the tournaments, because every single tournament that came up, he won. As he used to say, he had a little angel on his shoulder that no matter what he did, he'd win. He's won in every single discipline, is known as the USA's most all-around player, best all-around player. He's won in straight pool, 9-ball, 8-ball, 1 pocket, and banks, all world championships. Inducted in 1992, the Colonel, Nick Varner. This next legend was voted the greatest living player in 1999. He's the dominant tournament player from the mid-'70s to the late '80s, bridging that period when the professional game went from straight pool to 9-ball. He was also the technical advisor for the Color of Money. Only the decision to play less and fish more slowed him down. Inducted in 1989 at just 35 years old, the youngest male inductee, and I guess that's for perpetuity because we're now to 40 years old as a minimum. It's Captain Hook, Mike Siegel. This gentleman played 17 years on tour in a period of Hall of Famers, including Varner, Siegel, Buddy Hall, Jim Rempe, The Miz, Hopkins, Perica, and Reyes. In all of that, he appeared in 33 Pro Tour finals, winning 18 of them. The only thing that slowed him down was a freak accident on the golf range where he lost vision in one eye. However, just recently, he won his 70th title, the Georgia State 9-Ball Championship, at the great young age of 68. Inducted in 2018, the Kimmer, California, Kim Davenport. A 2-time U.S. Open champion, 2-time world champion, and 2-time Moscone Cup MVP, he was the player of the decade, and rightfully so, for the 2000s. We've all been made aware of his recent battles and are excited to see this great player back in action. Inducted in 2014, the Iceman, Mika Immonen. And last but not least, this 2-time World 9-Ball champion. This gentleman's resume has championships in a wide range of disciplines. He is often considered his era's greatest straight pool player. At this point, we've sort of lost count of how many straight pools he's won. I think it's 5, might be 6, depending how you want to count. Inducted in 2021, the hitman, Torsten Homan. Ladies and gentlemen, your Hall of Famers in attendance. We are actually right on time. We are going to break for dinner here in a minute, but if I could direct your attention to the step and repeat banner that we have on the right. It is our annual tradition to auction this off. So take a good look at it. It's signed by all the Hall of Famers. After we come back from break, we're going to auction it off, and then after that, we're going to induct the Hall of Famers. So we're going to take this break right now, take a good look at the banner, make sure you have an understanding of what you're going to bid on the auction, and we will see you right after dinner. Buon appetito. We're going to get started with the auction of this step and repeat banner up here. The proceeds of the auction go to fund next year's and subsequent years for the BCA Hall of Fame. So please keep that in mind. This is a great collector's item for everybody. All signed by all the Hall of Famers. If everybody's ready, let's start with the bids here. Can we get... We're not going to have the $1 or $10 increments. It's going to be at least $100. We want to start off with a $500 bid. So can we get an opening bid of $500? We got a $500. Can we go to $1,000? We got $1,000. I'm just assuming that you're serious and not just piping up for the next guy. Can we get a $1,500? $1,500. We got $1,500 over here in the dais. Can we go to $2,000? We got $2,000. Can we go 2,500? We got a 2,500. Let's go to 3,000. And you're going to have to be loud because I can't see you. We got 3,000 over here. We got 3,000 on the dais. Can we see 3,500? We got a 3,500. How about 4,000? We got 5,000. That's right. We might get the dessert in this time. Can we see 5,500? We're still at 5,500. You're gonna have to keep. I can't see behind me. We got 5,500 on the days. Anybody want to go to 6,000? Anybody else to 6,000? We're at 5,500. We're at 5,500. No takers on 6,000. 5,500 going once. 5,500 going twice. Fair warning, 5,500. Thank you, Jason Weir. Obviously, Jason will square up after this. That's right. Okay, let's get started with the induction ceremony. Our first Hall of Famer being inducted tonight is the late Mark Griffin. Mark dedicated his life to pool, and he's the epitome of meritorious service. He started his billiard career as a table mechanic up in Alaska, and he went on to own several pool halls in Alaska, San Diego, and finally in Las Vegas, Nevada, the famous Griff's Billiards. In mid-2000s, when the BCA divested from having leagues, Mark Griffin stepped up and he purchased the leagues from them, growing it to one of the largest in the world. He also used the leagues as a stepping stone as he started up tournaments that everybody has known as some of the most famous tournaments in the world. The US Open 1-Pocket, US Open Bank Pool, US Open 8-Ball, US Open 10-Ball. He revived the 14-1 Championship and the US Open Bar Box Championship. He was also a big player financially in diamond billiards, growing diamond billiards into one of the greatest pool tables in the world, especially in the taverns. as well as this smart table, a way to have a pool table and use a regular cue ball. Diamond Billiards, Mark Griffin, and partners change the way that pool looks in the taverns. To accept in his honor the Induction Award, please welcome the CEO of CSI, Ozzie Reynolds.
Well, Freddie, you pretty much covered it. Freddie and I had a conversation last night, and he asked me what I was going to say because he didn't want to repeat everything I was going to say. You failed, sir. There's a theory that the flap of a butterfly's wings in one part of the world can set off a chain of events causing a tornado in another. That concept is called the butterfly effect, and it illustrates how seemingly trivial actions can ripple out and shape the world in profound ways. Why am I talking about butterflies and tornadoes? For those who knew Mark Griffin well, it probably makes perfect sense. For those who didn't, just ask around, and you'll hear how Mark could be both, as gentle as a butterfly and as chaotic as a tornado, sometimes simultaneously. Mark was born October 31st, 1946 in Anchorage, Alaska. He would eventually build significant wealth by becoming the largest seller of bingo supplies across the state. But his true love wasn't bingo, it was billiards. Mark's billiards career started as a table mechanic, where he earned a reputation for excellence. He became a master mechanic, frequently flying to repair tables at pool rooms and military facilities across Alaska. His passion ultimately led him to open 9 pool rooms across Alaska, California, and Nevada, including 2 of the most iconic, Anchorage Billiard Palace in Alaska and Griff's in Las Vegas. In 2001, Diamond Billiard Products needed help, so they reached out to Mark. Recognizing its potential, he stepped in and became part owner, infusing the company with capital and purchasing the manufacturing facility it still uses today. Around this same time, Mark joined the Billiard Congress of America Board of Directors. The BCA's decision to sell the BCA Pool League in 2003 was a pivotal moment for Mark. He disagreed with the decision, but he also feared the league could be purchased by a competitor and dissolved. To protect its players, league operators, and room owners, he recused himself of all discussions regarding the sale and ultimately purchased the league himself, simply to ensure its survival. Still being a partner in Diamond Billiard Products and now owning the world's second largest amateur league, he began using diamond tables in all BCA Pool League events, including the prestigious BCA Pool League National Championships in Las Vegas. That synergy helped catapult Diamond to the top of the industry. In 2004, Mark founded Q Sports International to be the parent company of the BCA Pool League and other future endeavors. His vision for billiards continued to expand, and in 2009, he launched the USA Pool League, catering to an entirely different segment of the amateur pool league market. But Mark's legacy wasn't just about leagues and business. It was also about people. In 2007, he noticed a young player with immense talent but very little financial support. He worried that this gifted young man would leave the game for good due to lack of opportunity, so he stepped in and sponsored him. That kid's name was Shane Van Boening. Mark also provided a glimpse of his generosity and integrity in 2009 when another promoter failed to pay 5 professional players their prize money from a tournament. Mark covered the payments out of his own pocket, earning him the Billiards Digest Man of the Year award. Believing the amateur and professional games could and should complement one another, he created a series of professional tournaments, including the U.S. Open 10-ball, U.S. Open 8-ball, U.S. Open straight pool, U.S. Open one pocket, and U.S. bar table championships. Despite his outward success, Mark faced immense personal challenges. Diagnosed with a terminal lung disease, he lived with increasing dependence on oxygen. In 2015, a successful double lung transplant saved his life, and he got right back to work. Later that year, 2 guys from Fargo, North Dakota reached out to Mark because they had created what they believed would be a revolutionary pool player rating system. To prove their product, they needed data and lots of it. For years, CSI had maintained match scores from its leagues and tournaments. Believing that this could help the entire industry, Mark provided the data as well as critical startup funding. Fargo Rate is now a cornerstone of the sport and has quickly spread to 130 countries. In 2016, one of the prominent pool rooms in Las Vegas went out of business. Mark stepped right in, leased the space, and opened Griff's Billiards, investing nearly $1 million to create that legendary room. In 2018, he decided it was time for a younger generation to lead Q Sports International into the future, so he sold the company to his general manager and focused exclusively on expanding and improving Griff's. Sadly, on January 13th, 2023, at the age of 76, Mark passed away peacefully at his home due to complications of a suppressed immune system, a necessity of the lung transplant 8 years earlier. His passing marked the end of an era, but certainly not the end of his impact. I often wonder what the industry would look like today if Mark Griffin had not flapped his wings. What if Mark had not opened those 9 rooms? What if he had not invested in diamond tables? What if he had not purchased the BCA Pool League, created Q Sports International, or launched the USA Pool League? What if he had not supported that talented kid from South Dakota or invested in Fargo Rate? Today, his rooms are thriving. Diamond is an undisputed leader in the pool table market. The BCA Pool League and USA Pool League have doubled in size to surpass 100,000 members. That talented kid from South Dakota has multiple world titles and is a BCA Hall of Famer. And it's increasingly difficult to find a league or a tournament anywhere that doesn't use Fargo Rate. The truth is, nearly every aspect of billiards today has Mark Griffin's fingerprints all over it. Whether you're playing on a diamond table, competing in a BCA or USA Pool League, watching Shane Van Boening play in the Moscone Cup tomorrow, or relying on Fargo ratings for your local league or tournament, his influence is everywhere. Fortunately, for every single one of us, Mark did flap his wings, and his legacy will continue to ripple throughout the industry for generations. Shortly before his passing, Mark and I were discussing his terminal diagnosis, and he said, "Ozzy, it is what it is. Don't make a big deal about it." That was Mark. He never wanted sympathy or attention. In his last wishes, he asked people to donate to charity rather than send flowers, and he most certainly did not want a funeral service. But tonight, we're giving him the overdue recognition that he deserves, whether he likes it or not. Ladies and gentlemen, he isn't here in body, but I think he's definitely here in spirit. So please put your hands together and let's show our appreciation for a true titan of the industry, Mark Griffin. Thank you.
Thank you, Ozzy. Our next inductee, inducted in the Meritorious Service category, has spent his entire year from the time he got out of college in 1980 in the billiard industry. Started out as the editor, and today he is an owner and publisher of Luby Publishing. To help induct Mike Panozzo, please welcome the president of Tweed and Fiber Company, Skip Nemechek.
Hi, thank you all for being here. It's quite impressive, actually. I don't want to lose it, but I already did. I have the great honor to tell you about my best friend, Mike. And because I knew I couldn't do this, I made a video.
The Billiard Congress of America defines the Hall of Fame's purpose as to honor outstanding people who, through their competitive skills and dedication, have enriched our sport and industry. The Meritorious Service category shall be reserved for those who have made lasting, memorable, and important contributions to billiards. Mike began his career in August of 1980 at Luby Publishing. Fresh out of Marquette University with his journalism degree, he was hired as editor of Billiards Digest and has been with the magazine ever since. In 1989, Mike began distribution of Billiards Digest through newsstands to draw more fans to the game. Billiards Digest quickly became the premier billiards magazine of the sport and industry. Known for its honest, unbiased reporting and analysis of topics relevant to the sport and the industry, a true reflection of Mike's character and integrity. There was also a focus on telling the story of players and events and challenging the systems and people when necessary, offering opinion to encourage thought and discussion. Mike has always been an advocate on behalf of the players, and truly loves interviewing both professional and amateur players alike. In 1994, Mike, along with his business partner Keith Hamilton, purchased Luby Publishing and became the publisher of Billiards Digest. In 1998, Mike converted the bi-monthly Billiard Digest to a monthly publication. Apart from all of his accomplishments at Luby Publishing, Mike also devoted much of his time to serving the sport and the industry through administration. He served 2 terms on the BCA Board of Directors, first in the early 90s and again at the end of the 90s. He worked extensively on the Promotions Committee and chaired the Hall of Fame Committee. In 2005, Mike was awarded the coveted BCA President's Award. In addition to his BCA service, Mike also represented billiards at the Billiard and Bowling Institute of America. He served several years on the board of directors, and in 2001 was also named president of the BBIA. In 2017, Mike was awarded the BBIA's highest honor, the BBIA Industry Service Award. And I believe many of his BBIA friends are here with us tonight. This extraordinary career has also included nearly 400 editorials. He's interviewed 55 Hall of Famers and countless players. He's attended every BCA Trade Expo, 20 U.S. Opens, 24 Moscone Cups, several World Championships, and he wrote 3 instructional books with Steve Miserek, one of which sold nearly 100,000 copies. Sorry, Mike, I'm not done yet. If you thought that I could condense a 44-year career into 3 or 4 minutes, well, it's just not possible. So hang in there, take a sip of your cocktail. I'm almost done. I just wanted to share a few things about Mike that maybe you don't know. Mike has a passion for music. He loves to cook and loves food, and he has a very eclectic taste for cocktails. He owned a successful Italian deli in Chicago that was even featured on diners, drive-ins, and dives. And believe me when I say it was the best lasagna I ever had. And his Italian beef sandwich was outstanding. And trust me, we take our beefs in Chicago very seriously. During the COVID lockdowns, he couldn't just sit around. So what did he do? He wrote and published a book of cocktail recipes. Mike is a multi-talented, impactful person that befriends everyone he meets. The billiard industry and the sport have been blessed with such a generational person. And here's a few folks that wanted to express their thoughts as well.
Good evening, everybody. From Team Championship and the Adventure Club, we'd like to congratulate Mike Panozzo on his bid into the Hall of Fame. First was the shirt, and now Hall of Fame. Congrats, Mike.
Hi, Mike. Thank you so much for being the best godfather I could have asked for. You've always been a perfect example of how to live, how to have fun, how to travel, and how to love your career. Chris and I are so proud. We are so impressed with this achievement, and we cannot wait for November. Every family needs that comedian with perfect timing, and we have always been able to count on you. See you in Orlando.
Hey Mike, Jamie and I wanted to congratulate you on your induction to the Hall of Fame. Certainly well deserved. You're the best at what you do, and we love you. Take care.
Congratulations, Mike. I can't believe it's been 30 years that you and I have been collaborating on projects together. Anything from really fun Christmas gift guide photo shoots for Billiard Digest to the design of the logo for your Italian market. Through it all, I have been blessed to call you my friend, and I have been privileged to watch your dedication to this industry, your passion for food, drink, and incredible music, and most of all, your love for family, friends, and life in general. All of those things are the reason we are here tonight celebrating you. So in that said, I would like to raise a perfectly shaken gin martini in honor of your wife, the beautiful Saint Ellen. Thank you, Ellen, for sharing him with us all these years. And also to you, Mike, well deserved. Enjoy your celebration tonight. Love you, my friend.
Hey, Mike. Keith Hamilton, your business partner. Congratulations on your induction into the BCA Hall of Fame. It's obviously a very well-deserved honor. And congratulations to Mark and Shane for also being inducted with Mike. You're two names that I've heard quite a bit over the years. You know, I first met Mike 40 years ago when I was fresh out of high school. I came to Luby Publishing, was hired by Mort Luby, and I didn't know a lot, but I knew this. I knew Mike was an extremely talented individual. I knew that he had a love of Beard's Digest. What surprised me is his love of the beard industry. Mike always looked after the beard industry like he was the father protecting his young. The amount of hours and how you have branched out and served the industry in so many different ways, through so many different means, is really quite commendable. I'm very proud of you. So many people are. Please enjoy the evening, soak it all in, because you deserve it. You deserve the honor. So congratulations to you, again, to Shane and to Mark.
Hi, Michael. A long time since we've seen or spoken to each other. I was asked to say a few words in regarding your induction into the Billiard Hall of Fame. We've known each other for over 40 years, and I think at this point I'd be in your top 10 of important people in your life. I'm only kidding. I remember the many years you and I and Skip worked on the BCA board. We worked really hard to promote the game. In the process, we had fun. And at the same time, we made fun of the other board members because we could. I recall after you left the board, like clockwork, you would call me every Monday morning to pick my brain to see what the board was doing. And in most cases, I gave you the facts, and once in a while, I kept you guessing. As editor and publisher of Billiard Digest, my favorite billiard magazine, you had a platform that would give direction to the editorials and gave insight into advance the game. As a friend, former colleague, and customer, I want to congratulate you on your induction into the Hall of Fame. You deserve this great achievement. Congratulations and all the best.
There's one more significant point I'd like to share about Michael. In 2006, Mike formed the United States Billiard Media Association, USBMA, and was instrumental in changing the method by which Hall of Fame candidates were chosen. In 2009, the BCA board voted to discontinue the Hall of Fame ceremony, and Mike asked the BCA to allow control of the ceremony be handed to the USBMA, knowing how important this event is. For the last 15 years, Mike has been organizing the BCA Hall of Fame ceremony, including tonight. So not only is he being inducted into the Hall of Fame tonight, he's actually working as well. Although Mike doesn't see this as work at all, he loves it.
I couldn't be more happy for you tonight, Michael. You've given us 44 years of your life and devoted your entire career to billiards. I can't even put into words how much your friendship has meant to me. I've witnessed your humbleness, your humor, and your heart. You're a shining example of what it means to live and work with purpose, integrity, and compassion. I've been blessed to call you my friend, and you've inspired me and countless others by your example. I'm thankful that your name will be etched in BCA and Q Sports history, and your standard will motivate others to pursue excellence. To your dear wife, Ellen, Mrs. Panozzo, your mom, Mr. Panozzo, your dad, who's watching us up in heaven, and to all your brothers and sisters, thank you for sharing him for almost 5 decades. We are truly blessed. Michael, congratulations. You earned this. I love you. Please welcome Mike Panozzo into the BCA Hall of Fame.
Absolutely, I want the ring. He asked, do I want the ring? Are you kidding? Oops, sorry. Thank you. Wow, thank you. Clearly, the artist completely dismissed the George Clooney photo that I submitted. What do you think, Ma? All right? Yeah. There's nobody like your mother. She's always got your back. She's never wrong. Yeah, I need it. Okay. She's never wrong, and she doesn't mince words, right? So, I mean, I'm 66 years old, and my 93-year-old mother will still say things to me like, your hair's getting kind of long, you know, or are you really going to wear that? You know. But what I've learned over the years, the most important thing is that, oh.
It's the plaque. It's the plaque.
Wow. Off to a blazing start. But the most important thing is that I've learned is that no matter how old you are, if your mother's still with you, you're still a child. Amen. And that's the most comforting thing you can imagine. So if you give me one quick minute. She's earned that. Then she asked me if she was going to get the Clooney photo too. So, the Hall of Fame. You know, as you know, I'm very passionate about the Hall of Fame, always have been, because I think it's the single most important thing that this sport has. Because as you saw in that video, it gives such great perspective to the history of this sport and the heroes in it. Over 100-year history as a professional sport. This isn't cornhole, it's not pickleball. This is a sport with some history, and I think the Hall of Fame really offers perspective to that. And so it's very important to me. And as a member of the Billiard Media Association, I am involved every year in putting the ballot together and sending them out, helping conduct the voting. I get to inform the winners that they've been elected. It was an interesting phone call this year. But over that time, I'll always get, emails or phone calls from people advocating on their own behalf or on behalf of other people that they think deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. A lot of times they'll say, what's a person got to do to get into the Hall of Fame? Well, apparently 44 years of annoying the shit out of everybody qualifies. So, only 40 years to go, Molina. First of all, my heartfelt thanks to the BCA and the USBMA members and you Hall of Famers for your momentary, although irrevocable, lapse in judgment this year. Skip, long before the term ride or die was a thing, Skip's been mine. We've been side by side in this industry for over 40 years, and we've got stories. We've got stories. But all I can say is that I hope everyone in their lifetime at some point finds a friend like Skip. And that's about all I can get out of that because it's going to go downhill from there. Ozzy, congratulations for Mark. I'm so happy for him. I'm happy for you. You've been Mark's biggest advocate for the past couple of years, and I know we all wish that Mark was here with us tonight, but I guarantee he's looking down and he's very proud, and I'm sure he's applauding your acceptance of this award on his behalf. You did a great job. Appreciate it. Shaney Poo. First of all, I want to thank you for being inducted on the same night, because my mom was kind of on the fence about coming this year until she heard you were going to, right? So the first time I met Shane, he was wearing a cowboy hat, boots, blue jeans, and a collared shirt.
How do you remember that?
And I'll tell you, it was at the Sahara Hotel in Las Vegas during the World Nine Ball Championship. He was 9 years old, right? And he was there with his mother, Timmy Bloomberg, who was a national champion amateur bar table player herself and was also part of a national championship team with her sister, Gary Jo, and her mother, Jean. And they used to travel to the big national events, the VNEA and the BCA Nationals, and they would roll into town in this white Econoline van driven by Shane's grandfather, the late, great Gary Bloomberg. And on the side of the van was this big decal that said, 8 Ball Express, Rapid City, South Dakota. And so, you know, I didn't see Shane again for the next 10 years or so, until all of a sudden I had heard about this 18-year-old bar table monster, and soon after that, he hit the big table 9-ball pro circuit, and from there, over the next 15 to 20 years, as we all know, carved out a career as arguably, well, not even arguably, one of the top 5 American players ever, and one of the top players in the world ever. And so to have watched that entire journey and to get inducted into Hall of Fame on the same night as Shane makes me feel really freaking old. Really freaking old, okay? So, about me. I just want to let you know ahead of time I come from a very emotional Italian family. We're criers. So, just fair warning. I mean, I'm a crier. My brothers and sisters are criers. My mother was a crier. Yeah, so anyways, fair warning. So how did we get here? You know, I was, as Skip mentioned, I was just a journalism major out of college looking for a job. And I found a job in this billiard magazine. And I didn't really think, I liked pool, but I was not, you know, a pool nut by any means. And I didn't think it was going to last long. And a matter of fact, I don't think my boss who hired me, Mort Luby, thought it was going to last long either, because I like to relay the story that first couple of months that I worked there, we used to actually, this was back in the days, we used to actually physically paste pages to the magazine together. And we had this room that we did this in, and I worked on this workstation over here doing the billiard magazine, and Mort Luby worked on this workstation over here doing the bowling magazine. And between us on the wall was a phone. And every once in a while the phone would ring, and Mort would answer it, and he'd say, "Luby Publishing. Yes, I'm sorry, that position's been filled, but go ahead and send in your resume and I'll keep it on file." So fear is a great motivator. But I learned everything, I owe everything to Mort Luby. He taught me everything about publishing and about magazines, and he also told me how great this industry was, and he was right. So I will spare you the decade-by-decade account of my time at Billiards Digest, but I do want to say that I'm incredibly proud of Billiards Digest and what it has stood for all these years. A magazine produced at a professional standard that the industry and the sport could be proud of as representing them. We're here to inform, we're here to educate, we're here to entertain, to generate debate, of course. I take great pride in what we do, and I think what we do is really important for this sport and this industry. It needs platforms that inform and challenge as well as entertain, whether it's a magazine, a news site, a podcast, whatever. And what I'll say to my media friends, some of whom are here in the audience, take your job and your role seriously. We all love to have fun, but don't ever trivialize the importance of your job and how important it is to this sport and to this industry. Respect what you do, and respect the sport and its players and all those involved. For me, the best part about running Billiards Digest has been the good fortune I've had to work with amazing people, and it starts with my business partner, Keith Hamilton, business partner for over 30 years. And as he mentioned, we bought the company, and he allowed me to continue to really focus most of my attention on Billiards Digest, and he took kind of more of a leadership role in the bowling magazine. And I appreciated that because this is what I loved. And ironically, we've just learned in the last few weeks that Keith will be inducted into the National Bowling Hall of Fame early next year. This is what we do at Luby Publishing. We just wait everybody out, and over time, we just wear you down. We just wear everybody down. I've also been blessed to work with the absolute best writers, designers, photographers, starting with the late, great George Fells and BCA Hall of Famer Robert Byrne, all the way to our current writers, Jake Dyer, who's here, and my right-hand man, Keith Paradise. As for BD's columnists, Nick Varner, these numbers are going to astonish you, really. Nick Varner has written for Billiards Digest, on and off, mostly on, since 1980. The incredible Mike Seamus has been sharing his historical knowledge for 36 years in Billiards Digest. Bob Jewett, who's here, 32 years. Larry Schwartz, 31 years. Dr. Dave Alsutor, 21 years. And they continue to come up with new ideas and new ways to share their knowledge. And trust me, these guys are not doing this for the money. They love the sport. They love sharing their insight and their knowledge, and how fortunate we all are for that. By the way, Nick, Bob, January columns are due next week, so chop, chop. As a magazine publisher, I also have incredible admiration and appreciation for the photojournalists in this industry who make our pages look so good and our covers look so great. From Lawrence Lustig at Matchroom in the old days to J.P. Parmentier and Taka Wu, Matt Perinsky, Allison Chang, and my guy, Erwin Dionisio. As for memories, 44 years, a lot of memories. I'm not going to dwell on a lot of those, but I've had some great ones, from staying at Fat's house in Southern Illinois to hanging out in a casino lounge in Atlantic City late at night with Wimpy Lassiter, and having Paul Newman offer me Paul Newman's own popcorn during the filming of The Color of Money in Chicago. I'm blessed to love what I do. And I think I'm more active now than I've ever been. You can ask my wife, she will tell you that. With projects like the Billiard Digest live streaming show that we do now every month with my great friends at the APA down in St. Louis. I love doing that. And the podcast that I get to be part of with Melina, Mike, and Nate on Dogging It and Cue It Up. It's so much fun. I'm still having a ton of fun. But really, tonight isn't about me. I would love it to be about me, but it's not. It's about you. And it starts with the players. The first player I met was Nick Varner in 1980. We became great friends right away. I was friends with him and his dad, Nick, and his brother, Steve, for years. And then things changed for me in 1981 when I went to New York for the World Straight Pool Tournament. And that's where I met Hook and Rempe and Mizrak, and that was Lori John Jones winning the world championship as a 15-year-old, or Lori John Oganowski, Jones, Hassan, Brown. It was also Ava's first trip to the U.S. She was 18, and thankfully for us all, she never left. It was great. I was very welcome there. I felt like part of a community really quickly. I got to go to dinner with these people and hang out and at the bar at the hotel and talk. And one of the things that endeared me to them was that I learned very quickly that, like myself, they all spoke fluent smartass. And I was like, okay, these are my people here. I've had the honor of seeing generation after that come up, you know, from the Earl Strickland, Efrain Reyes years to Johnny Archer and Mika and Torsten and Jeanette, of course, and Belinda and Allison and Kelly. And as these generations, I got to see their whole careers. What a joy that's been. And then even the current young players, the Feder and Christina and Margaret and Tyler and Billy and Sky and you know, Jason and the Amigos, just all these great young players, all the way down to the teenagers, the Savannahs and the Sophias and the Sam Hendersons. And what you guys probably don't realize is that it's your stories. It's telling those stories. It's your passion. It's your commitment. It's your dedication. It's your optimism. It's your joy. That's my energy. Okay, raise your hand if you bet the under on how long it was going to take me to break up. No, but I thank you for that. One of the great things about our little subculture is that once you're in, you never leave. And I've had the honor and the pleasure of dealing with people in this industry for 20, 30, 40 years. And you have to realize how cool that is and how important that is and how it's something we should celebrate. I call Skip for advertising. I've been calling them for 42 years. It's just, you know, that's part of what makes this industry so great. And all my industry friends who are here, I would never even refer to you as customers. You know how much you mean to me. And all you fans who follow the sport, the supporters, don't ever underestimate how much power you have as a group, okay? Trust me, there are people outside the sport that get a glimpse of this sport and they get it. They're like, this is a pretty cool community. You're a little crazy, but it's a really cool community. You know, if you don't think that this community is strong enough when it pulls in one direction to really make a difference, ask Jeanette, ask Mika. You know, this industry, this community is pretty strong. And together, we have the power to move this sport ahead if we all pull in the same direction. So let's do that. Now the tough part. While I do love my food and my music and a well-crafted cocktail, the most important thing to me is family. And in that respect, I've been far luckier than I should probably deserve. My entire family is here tonight. They're sitting somewhere over here, but there's not a chance in the world I'm looking in that direction. My wife, Ellen, we've been together for 42 years, and anyone... Anyone who knows me even a little bit knows that sainthood is in her future. Obviously, my mother, all my brothers and sisters are here, my goddaughter, nephew, in-laws, and it's kind of a Jerry Maguire thing where, you know, something like this doesn't mean nearly as much unless you have people you love to share it with. But I also have a second family, and after 44 years, you pick up a second family, and that's everybody in this room. And having this second family as well is what makes me feel like the luckiest guy in the world. And this opportunity tonight to have this family and this family in the same room at the same time for something important to me like this is really overwhelming. I mean, I don't even know how to describe it. You know the movie It's a Wonderful Life? I mean, this is the time of year, right? And it was just on in our room yesterday. I feel like George Bailey at the end of It's a Wonderful Life. You know that scene? Although, if memory serves, his friends all presented him with a big laundry basket filled with cash. So, but no, it's okay, really, because a green blazer's great, too. Okay? Richest man in town. But enough from me. It's SVB time. This has been the second greatest day of my life. July 24th, 1982, just in case you're keeping track. I am truly humbled and honored of being here. But I want to leave you with this, if I can get it out. And that is, you need to know that whatever you think I've done for this sport and this industry over the past 44 years absolutely pales in comparison to what you've done for me. And for that, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. I love you all. Thank you very much.
And he really was working this whole thing. Everything that you see here, Mike organized, and he was still working. As you saw him working around the crowd, he was still working it. Okay, we're down to our final inductee of the night. Oh, we got to do a selfie first. There you go. Oh, hold on for a second. You all set? All right, it's all right. Our final inductee of the night, what everybody's been waiting for, arguably the greatest player of his generation. The first time I saw Shane, he was just a kid, and he was one of the up-and-coming young guns. And then the switch happened. It was around 2006, somewhere around there, 2006, he came into the Derby City Classic with this, he's a little taller, and this long stroke. Elegant, gorgeous, that just spoke elite. And I think anybody that was going to be watching him at that time knew he was the next great American champion. Here to introduce Captain America into our BCA Hall of Fame, into the greatest player category, please welcome Mr. Jason Weir.
Thank you. Congrats, Mr. Panozzo, on 44 years of dedication and services to this industry. It's been an honor to meet you. Thank you. And to Mark Griffin, who I know is upstairs smiling at us all, and to Ozzy and his team for doing an incredible job, making this game bigger and better for all of us. Thank you. Interesting enough, Mark Griffin was Shane Van Boening's first sponsor. Who could ever forget those beautiful shirts that Shane wore back in the day with the BCA logo on them? He's very proud. There's another very special team that's in front of me, and that would be Shane's mom, Timmy Blueberg. Thank you for raising an incredible human being. You're incredible. So many years ago, my father and I would always travel to the Las Vegas event, Mark Griffin's great event that we all enjoyed over the years and still do, the 8-Ball National event. And I happened to be checking in and going through the lobby, and I stumbled upon a friend that I met a few months prior who's in the crowd tonight, Billy Silveria. And he stopped me and he said, "Hey, Jason, I'd like you to meet Shane." Shane, I told you about Jason. He enjoys golf, plays a lot of golf. And Shane looked at me and he said, "You want to go hit some?" And I said, "Well, when do you want to do that?" And he said, "Well, right now." I said, "Well, you know, we're just kind of checking in right now. We're going to get situated, and maybe we can switch phone numbers, and maybe we can hit some balls. You know, we're here for a week and a half, and that would be great." And so we left it at that. And the next day, my father and I were having breakfast, and we walked out, and I ran into Shane. I practically ran right into him, and I looked at him, and he said, "Hey, are you ready to go hit some balls?" And I said, "Well, I really don't play your speed." He said, No, go hit some golf balls. Let's go hit some golf balls. I said, "You know, actually I have some time, so we can go now." He said, "Great. Okay, so I will pick you up out front of the hotel." I said, "Okay, great." So about 20 minutes later, I walked down and got into the front of the hotel, into the valet area there, and here comes this Ford Festiva rental car. Now, we know how frugal Shane can be. And he was rolling the window down. It was rolling. It was a manual. He didn't have the electronic, right? Okay, it's the cheapest rental car we can get. And he's waving at me, and he said, "Jason." Okay, gotcha. Here we go. So there we go. Two strangers going down I-15 in Las Vegas, complete strangers, practically on top of each other in a Ford Festiva, okay, in 115-degree weather, going to hit golf balls together. And so it was time to check in to the range. And so I went first, and I said, "Yeah, I'll take a small bucket and a driver and a 5-iron. "All right, here you go, Mr. Weir, no problem, bump, bump." Here comes Shane. "Yeah, I'll take an extra large bucket, a cadet medium large glove, a bottle of water, a driver, a 3-iron, a 5-iron, a 7-iron, and a wedge." And I was like, wow, okay, so here we go. We go out to the driving range. Now it's 115 degrees, people, in Las Vegas, two strangers on the range, and there's nobody on the range. It's just him and I. And so we went to our stations. And so I hit the golf balls probably in 10, 15 minutes. I turn around. I look at Shane. He still has 95% of those golf balls to hit. And so I just sat there on the bench, and I watched, and I marveled. And I said, "I'm watching a champion right now. He is different." Every single shot that he hit, he would look at it. When it hit the target, he'd turn around, he'd smile. When he hit it offline, I could see the disgust in his face. He moved that alignment rod all around the range, and I was marveled, and I got it. I said to myself, I am witnessing somebody that is dedicated to everything they do in life. So, sorry, I'm getting lost here. So anyway, that friendship grew. And it was a slow progression, the texts, the phone calls, and then it became trips together. It came trips with my father, who I lost a few years ago. It came to my hometown of Palm Springs, where he enjoys golf. We played several rounds together. It's about the only thing I can beat him at to this day. And it went to my hometown of Seattle, to my dad's memorial event, which he has won 3 years in a row. I'm very proud to say. And then it went to trips in South Dakota, and we have South Dakota representing Shane Van Boening here today. So the time came to where I said to myself, boy, I'll tell you what, he's getting close to winning all these U.S. Opens. And I called him and I said, hey, Shane, I'd really like to go to Norfolk, Virginia. I want to be your wingman. I want to root you on. I want to see you win. And so, of course, Shane was being Shane and going through the brackets, winning. And he stumbled upon a good friend of mine, Corey Deuel. And they went head to head. Race to 10. It went back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It went hill. It's 9-9. Okay, now Shane's chasing Earl Strickland's record at the time. Shane's over a shot. I'll never forget it. He gets up over the shot. He grabs the cue ball, turns around, gives it to the ref. Everybody in that room was wondering what the heck is going on here. So Corey got up and ran the set out. Shane loses 10-9. And like we always did after matches, I'd always meet Shane outside in front, and we'd always go eat after. So sure enough, I go out. Now, Shane's won a little bit more money at this time, so he doesn't have a Ford Festiva, okay? He has a midsize, a Buick Skylark, and he comes pulling up to the valet, and I see him and I walk out. And I'll never forget this. It was dead silence in the car for the first 5 minutes. I didn't know what to say. And I said to him, what happened? He said to me, Jason, when I was up over a ball and I was shooting the 3, and I took my bridge hand off that ball, I could feel my cuticle hit that ball, and I fouled. And I picked the cue ball up. Now, nobody saw this. The ref didn't see it. The audience didn't see it. But Shane felt it. And he said to me, because I did that, I'm going to win more U.S. Opens. I'm going to win more world championships. So I think we can all learn something from that tonight and take away that Shane is a better human being than a pool player. Let's take a look back at this incredible career. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to introduce to you the 87th player inducted into the Billiard Congress Hall of Fame, the South Dakota Kid, Captain America, my pumpkin, Mr. Shane Van Boening.
What a amazing view right here. So many people here. I heard it's the biggest Hall of Fames that I ever have in 20 years. And I just can't really believe it. So it is with gratitude and a bit of disbelief that I stand before you today accepting this honor induction into the BCA Hall of Fame. As I look out into this wonderful crowd of friends, family, competitors, and fans, I am reminded of the journey that has led me here. A journey marked not just by personal achievements, but the countless moments of competition and passion for this game we all love. I am honored and humbled to have the opportunity to be in the Hall of Fame with my longtime friend, Mark Griffin, Mike Panozzo. I'd like to thank Billiards and Congress America for my induction and their continuous support for the game. And I just want to talk about Mike Panozzo. It's pretty crazy that you've been doing this for 44 years.
Rub it in.
I think that's very unbelievable, and I appreciate everything you do for the sport. Maybe 20 minutes. I'm actually very excited to be here, by the way, and I was a little bit nervous before we walk into the door, but I'm feeling more relaxed at the moment. First of all, I want to say thank you to Jason Weir for the introduction into the Hall of Fame. And love you too, Pumpkin. I want to start by remembering my close friend and who can't be with us tonight to celebrate this special occasion. Chad Pullman, June 15, 2012. Cecil Coombs, July 15, 2020. Mark Griffin, January 13, 2023. Tim Paget, February 15, 2023. My grandfather, Gary Bloomberg, December 11, 2023. Kenny Brisbane from Detroit, February 29, 2024. And my loving grandparents and my Uncle Brent from South Dakota. I trade most anything to be able to share this moment with all of you. I know you're watching, and I know you're proud, but I really want you to know that I wouldn't be here without you. All right. See. All right. Yeah, I'm good. So, I want to talk about what did it mean to be in the Hall of Fame. Well, it's a lot. So, one day I got the phone call from Mike Panozzo in the summertime. I was fishing on the lake, and I got a phone call from him. Was it from you? Yeah, I think it was from you. So anyways, I got it from him, right? And he called me and said, "You probably know why I'm calling you." I said, "Yeah, I'm probably inducted into the Hall of Fame." And he said, "Congratulations," and I said, "Thank you." And he also told me that Mark Griffin and Mike Panozzo are going to be in the Hall of Fame as well. And I was like, yeah, that was the icing on the cake. So I hang up the phone, and I put my fishing pole down, and I'm just sitting in the chair on my boat, and I'm looking in the sky, and I'm thinking about all the times that I played pool, how I started playing pool, all the tournaments that I played, all the players that I had to play, all the headache that I had to deal with, the players. You know, it's pretty amazing to see where I came from South Dakota. And it's pretty amazing to see that anybody from South Dakota is going to be one of the top pool players from all over the world. And here I am, Hall of Fame. I want to share a couple of stories that happened to me when I was younger. Most of the people don't really know that my road to the professional pool wasn't exactly in a straight line, but here's the few stories. And one of the stories that happened to me many years ago, I might say that happened to me probably when I was 10, 11, 12 years old, if I can remember. I was coming home from school, and I was on the bus, and there was a kid picking on me like pretty hard, and he made me cry. So I'm walking home, and I go in my bedroom, and I lock the door, and I sat in my bed, and I'm crying and crying. And then my mom comes home, and she knew there was something wrong. So then, hours later, my mom asked me, "You want to go to the pool?" I said, "Yeah, I want to go to the pool." So she took me to the pool. And then, when I got to the pool, my grandfather's pool in Rapid City, South Dakota, she took me to the pool, and I opened the door, and I see all the people in the pool, and all I see was happiness, love, and peace. And this is when I realized that there's no place better than being in the pool. And that's where I started to fall in love with pool. Pool is always going to be a great place to be. If you're down, or if you're not happy, then you go to the pool and you change your life. So, and that was the story when I fell in love. And then continued when I got older. I graduated from high school, and my mom was at the school with all the teachers, and I told my mom, I don't want to go to graduation. And she said, why? She said, I don't want to graduate with all the bullies that were picking on me. And my teacher got kind of upset about it, that my teachers wanted me to be there and go to graduation. I said, I don't want to go. So my mom took me to Vegas in 2002. And I didn't walk down the aisle. Nope. Then I go to Vegas, and if I can remember, I got second in the team international champion with my teammates, fellow teammates. And then a few years later, in 2003, 2004, I won the VNEA Nationals, Masters, and 2004 I won the VNEA Nationals again. And Greg Elliott, the president of VNEA, he said, you can't no longer play the VNEA anymore, you're too good. All right, I said thank you for the message. And now he's sponsoring me today. So that was history from there. 2004, I never played any amateur events. And then I went back home and had a conversation with my Uncle Mike. And Mike said, congratulations, you won the VNEA. And I remember what he said. He said, well, you won the national, but you're still a chump. I said, what do you mean by that? He said, well, all the players that you played in the Nationals isn't compared to all the players around the American U.S. There's so many great players in the U.S. And he's like, well, I'm going to take you on the road. And we're going to go to Texas. He said, all right. And I said, okay, let's go. So then I went to Texas, in Dallas, Texas. That was our first road trip that I went. And the first guy that I played in Dallas, Texas was Roger Griffin. He's a well-known player from Texas, one of the top players. Some of you might have heard of him, but he walked in the pool room with sunglasses on. And I was like, this guy's scary. Right? And I'm like shaking, and my uncle told me, you gotta play him. He's the best in the city. I'm like, all right. So I played Roger Griffin for $50 a game, and I broke even with him for 2 days. Right? So then, me and my uncle went on the road for probably about 6 months. We went to Tennessee, we went to Carolinas, we went to Florida, and I played everybody. I played Tony Washington. Tony Washington was a great player back in the days. And played John Hennessy, Bobby Pickle, a few other good players. So then one day, I never forget this. So one day I was in Tennessee, right, and I played a guy there, and we were playing for $5,000, right? We're playing 7 ahead for $5,000. I got the guy losing, and he got a shot, and he was about to scratch, right? He picked up the cue ball, hit the table, and hit me. I'm like, what the heck, right? So then there was a bunch of people in the pool room. They all started panicking and whatever, right? And we had to stop the match for like 30 minutes. And we had to talk to the guy to calm down and whatever, right? And then he come back to the table. I finished the set. I won the set and took all the money and we hit the road and go back home. So then I told my uncle, you know what, I can't do this anymore. I don't want to go on the road anymore. I don't want to hustle people anymore. I just can't do it anymore. It's just too dangerous. So then I went back home and then started practicing and then get ready to play professional tournaments. So then in 2005, I met my friends in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and they say, we need to get you ready to go play professional tournaments. I said, yeah, let's do it. So I got a guy named Chuck Moss. He's like my financial advisor. And he said, I'm going to pay for your trip to Taiwan, 2005 World Championship. It's the first tournament that I went to. I had to go play the qualifier, right? I got in the finals of the qualifier 2 times, and I lost to Lee Van Corteza and some other Filipinos out there. I was like 1 game short to get into the main stage of the main event. I was like, damn it. So Wu Cha-Ching won the World Championship. He was the youngest player to ever win the World Champions. And that was quite an experience. And then just share a few stories later on in the years. I wanted to mention that I played the longest money match I ever played in my whole career. I played Scott Frost one day, and we played for 32 hours, 1 set. 32 hours. We saw the sunset. We saw the sunrise 2 times. We were in Vegas at the pool, and we were just battling out. This is the best one-pocket match you will ever see in your life. I promise you. Me and Scott played the best perfect match ever. It was unbelievable, right? I never forget that, Scott. We broke even after 32 hours. I got on the hill first in like 45 minutes, and then he got on the hill for 30 hours straight. And finally, I got him tired, and we got back to even, and I looked at him and I said, we need to quit, man. One of us is gonna die in the pool. And he said, yeah, we need to quit. Never forget it. Give me a second here. All right. Back in my early days, I want to mention a guy that I met, right? This was in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. I met a guy who's named Chad Pullman, and he was one of my biggest mentors in my career, right? And I'm gonna tell you a story that happened to me one night. I was in the pool room, and I was playing $50 a game with the guy, right? And I was about 20, I think I'm gonna say I was about 21, 22, right? Played a guy for 50 a game, and I was being a little arrogant, cocky, right? And I was being a little smart-ass to the guy. Chad gets out of the chair. I watched Chad get out of the chair. He's 400 pounds. 6'4", right? He picked me up like a pencil and held me against the wall. He said, don't you ever do that again. And he made me cry in the pool. I mean, there were people washing, and he made me cry in the pool. Right? And I just felt so bad, right? And then later that night, we were talking about respecting your opponents, respecting the game. And I had a long conversation with him, and I never forget this. Ever since that day, I have never disrespected any of my opponents. And I just can't do it. I can never shirk my opponents either. It's just never gonna get me. So. All right. Just a second here. I lost track. So. I just want to make sure I don't miss anything, so I'm going to go through it real quick. Okay. So here's another story that happened to me in Phoenix, Arizona, in 2007. I came to Arizona, and I stayed at a friend's house, right? And there was a tournament at Bull Shooters, if I remember the name of the bar. And there was a tournament there, right? And I see Jeremy Jones and Billy Palmer in the finals. And I didn't make it. I got in the semifinals and lost, right? And that's when I met Mark Griffin. And then I had a conversation with Mark Griffin, and he said that he wanted to put me into the ESPN BCA pool.com, whatever, in Vegas in 2007. So he gave me a spot. And then I got in the finals against Dennis O'Cullough, and that was my first major tournament for ESPN. And what I wanted to mention is, if it wasn't for him, I don't think I would have done so well in 2007. So what happened is I got in the finals of 2007 ESPN, and then I went to Florida, won the International 10-ball tournament in Florida, went back to Vegas, got in the finals again, and then after that, I won the U.S. Open in 2007. So what I wanted to mention about Mark Griffin is he is one of a kind guy that I met, and I will always remember him, what he had done for me, my career, and he is one heck of a guy. All right. Just a second here. All right. And that is the whole story for my whole career. So, no, I'm not done yet. So, and the question is that how I become committed? No, not the crazy house kind of committed, but I committed to stressing my life to be the professional pool player I could. And I think it worked out pretty good. So I just wanted to mention a few people, and so many people in this room, and many of the people I wish were here tonight were so supportive and important to my life playing professional pool. I want to thank all of you. And I wanted to mention a few people. Of course, Chap Holman. And Chap Holman was on the phone with me when I won the U.S. Open in 2007. He was on the phone with me every single match. After I win the match, he'll call me. He said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm practicing." He said, "Good." And then right before the match, he said, "Who do you play?" I said, "That didn't matter. I'm going to beat him." right? So every match, he kept me motivated. And then I won the U.S. Open in 2007. So I just want to say thank you, Chad Pullman, for what you, a kind of person you are. And what I learned about Chad, he is 400 pounds, 6'4", right? But what I learned about him is that he is never afraid in life. And I think that's important. You shouldn't have to be afraid of anything. And that was the big motivation. And I want to mention Jim here, Jim McNenny from South Dakota. He is one of my longest time friends. He knew me when I was born. And if you can stand up real quick. And what I want to talk about him is that he's one of the people that made a big difference in my life. And what happened back in the days is that when I was younger, 13, 14, 15 years old, he would pick me up every week, go play pool league, and go play a pool tournament every single week, and then he would take me back home. And he's one of those people that is very respectable in my hometown, Rapid City. And I just want to say thank Jim for a man he is, kind, generous, loving person for me and my family. I also want to mention there's a guy named Mike Helmer from Denver, Colorado. And he's a heck of a guy too. So back in my days, 2007, about 2005, I went to Denver and I went to hang out with him. He's a good pool player. And I learned about pool and learned more about pool. And he's one of the nicest guys that I met. And I just want to say thank you, Mike Helmer, for helping me through my younger days. All right. I also want to mention Mark Griffin. I've known Mark Griffin for many years. I want to say thank you for being a good friend for many years. And thank you for giving the opportunity to all the players to have in tournaments. And I've won so many tournaments when he had them, and he would spend a great time with him. Even though he's not here, I'm always thinking about him. I also want to mention Sean Clausen here. You can stand up if you want. There is a pool room that my grandfather owned since 1986, and that's when he started the pool room. And then there were a couple owners here and there. And then recently, in the last, I think it was 4 years ago, that he bought the pool room, and he kept it going. And I want to say thank you from your support of the game in Rapid City to your hard work and carekeeping for my family pool room, open for almost 40 years now. Thank you. And he did teach me how to fish, too. I want to mention John Morris. You can stand up if you want. My friend, my stake horse, our biggest match had to be against Efren in 2012. And I never forget this. I played Efren in Derby City Classic in 2012. I was walking around in the hallway and I see Efren. I said, Efren, you want to play something? He's like, yeah, I want to play. And he asked me, what do you want to do? And I said, yeah, let's play some tempo. So his stake horse was there, and we played a big set for almost 50,000. Pretty close. Race to 21, right? We go upstairs in Derby City, right? We go upstairs, we get this table, and this is the only table in the whole room just running, right? All the other tables just turned off. All the people were in there washing. And there were probably well over a couple hundred people in there, I'd say. And I never forget this. It's just, it was an amazing night to play against Efren. And John put me in the game. We win 21-18. So never forget this. But the biggest match we ever had was just recently. I don't want to say this, but we played against Freddie Gorst. Freddie, I love you, but I got you. Now, let me tell you about this match. It was the most unbelievable match I have ever played in my whole career. And I just want to say, Freddie, thank you for giving me the opportunity to play. It was just an amazing event that we did. And you're an unbelievable, talented pool player that I have seen in so many years. So. I want to mention Don Portra and Randy Pelton. I want to thank you for our friendship all these years, and I know we all miss Kenny Brisbane as well. Just a second. Hey, I'm not crying, so that's good. I'm actually having fun with this. I don't want to miss anything. Okay. All right. To the promoters, without you, how many titles would there be to chase? I am beyond thankful for all my titles, the U.S. Opens. We miss you, Barry Berman. And the best promoter in the world that meant to me to finally win the World Championship, Matchroom Pool 2022. That was probably the happiest day of my life. I finally get the monkey off my shoulder, okay? But winning the World Championship is something else. It's just not a better feeling. And to win the World 8-Ball, the World Pool Masters, the World Cup of Pool, it's a long list. And so many other titles. And a special thanks you to the biggest promoter in pool today, Emily Fraser, Barry Hearn, and the Matchroom team. The biggest event of the year starts tomorrow. And can you believe I'm playing the 18th consecutive years in the Moscone Cup? I am really honored to join my team and my friends, fellow friend, Sky, Billy, Tyler, and new friend, Freddie. And I'm really excited to play for this year's Team USA Moscone Cup, and I want to say thank you for your friendship. To the fans, none of this would be possible without the fans, of course. And I want to say a big thank you to all the fans for their continuous support around the world. It means a lot, especially when the roles are stacked against you. I also like to thank all my sponsors. Your unwavering support has helped me chase down the titles and the dream. Now, I just wanted to share a short story of what happened, of how I got started with the sponsors deal, right? So I was self-employed in 2007, running into 2007. I was never sponsored by anybody. So I win the US Open, and then I go home and see my grandfather, and my grandfather's like, hey, I got something important to talk to you. And I said, okay. So then I went to talk to him, and he said, QTech want to reach out to you and do an agreement. And I was like, all right. So then this is when I met Tim Paget, who passed away a few years ago, February 15, 2023. And he was a great guy. I got to know him, and he worked for QTech. And ever since that day when I talked to him about getting an agreement with QTech, and this is where I moved forward to get on team with QTech. So then I flew to China, and I met with Jones, the president of QTech. And I never forget this, and I signed the contract, and I joined the QTech team in 2008. And I just wanted to share my experience with Team QTech. It's been one heck of a ride, 17 years, and I wouldn't trade it for anything else. Just want to say thank you to Jones, Lenny, Brett, Kyle, and Jack DeMoto of the Imperial family. I want to say thank you to the Rasson tables from China. I want to say thank you to the VNEA, Greg and Brian Elliott. I want to say thank you to Hal Tips, Andy Cloth, Andy and Jenny from China. I also want to say thank you to Fort Worth Billiards from Dallas, Texas. And also want to say thank you to Onboard Team. It has been quite an adventure all these years playing professional pool, traveling around the world, sometimes competing in places that I haven't even heard of growing up. And I've been to 70 countries, which is unbelievable. I never thought I was going to travel to 70 countries. It's amazing. And I want to share a short story of what happened to me with my grandfather. This happened to me many years ago before I started becoming really good in 2007, right? So in 2006, I was at home, right, and I met up with my grandfather. We go to the pool room, and he's like, Shane, you need to start breaking better. I said, what are you talking about? he said, you need to start breaking like Mike Siegel, right? And he was trying to explain to me on the table that you need to pop the cue ball. And this is what you were known for, popping the cue ball. And that was the best break in 9-ball. And I'm like, all right, I'll try it. So he started racking the balls, and I started breaking, and after the third rack, I get that cue ball go, juke like that, right? It was beautiful. And I'll never forget this moment with my grandfather in the pool. And ever since that day, I started practicing my break and got it down, and I started robbing people in 2007. It's just freaking beautiful, right? Give me a second. All right. I'm feeling pretty good. It's unbelievable. The wine helps. Right? All right. To all the people from my home, South Dakota, I want to say thank you to all my friends from South Dakota for your love and support. Most importantly, to my mom, Timmy Bloomberg. Shimmy. You know, when I was younger in my days, you know, when I was about 3 or 4 years old, I used to call her Shimmy, not Timmy. So. Most importantly to my mom, Timmy Bloomer, and stepfather and family, you have always been my biggest supporter. Without my family, my Aunt Gabrielle, Uncle Lamar, Uncle Mike, Uncle Jay, sister, all my cousins, my loving grandparents, and the most important people in my life is my grandfather, Gary Bloomberg. Without all of you, I wouldn't be here today, and that is facts. I love you all. I need to thank my extended family, Jason and Michelle Weir. Sean Damani and family. Billy Chevere, we are more than friends for a long time and love all of you. Also want to mention many friends in the U.S. around the world for continuous support and friendship. I'm sure I haven't thanked everyone I should, and trying not to miss everyone. But as you guys know, I got something to do tomorrow, but please know I am forever grateful to this game and to everyone that has been part of my journey. Go USA. Is anybody crying? No? He is. Sean Damani. And to my loving girlfriend, we have been together for a year, over a year. I want to also thank her for support to my career. Love you. One second. I am almost done, I promise. Yeah. Okay. Nope, no, I got it. All right. This is to my fellow pool players that have played all these years. To all the players and my opponents over the years, thank you for pushing me to my limits. Each game, whether a victory or a defeat, was a lesson. You taught me that sometimes the most important shot is the one that you make when you're under pressure, when the game hangs in balance, and when your heart is racing. I want to thank all the players around the world and my opponents. We had battles together, all the laughs we had together, all the anger we had together, and all the frustration we shared together. This is how we make memories together. Much love to all the pool players around the world, and thank you for being who you are. Now, I'm gonna tell you a short story of what happened. And you're gonna crack up on this one, probably. So this happened in Derby City Classic, right? 9-ball division. I think it happened 6-7 years ago, right? So we're in the final, probably 12 in the Derby City, right? And I drew Jason Shaw, right? So this tournament, right, is rack your own at the time. There was no template, right? So there's just always, frustration going on because people were cheating on the rack and whatever, and, a lot of people were doing it, right? So I drew Jason Shaw in Derby City, and he's racking the balls. He's up 3-0, and there's nothing I can do, right? And then he missed a shot. I get up to the table, and I ran 6 racks in a row. I racked the balls. I'm getting ready to break. He grabbed his phone and goes up to the table and take a picture of my rack. And he said, cheater, cheater, cheater. Right? Right, yeah. So anyway. So that was the frustration part of the game that we deal with for many years, and it's okay. As long as we don't fight, it's okay. So a couple months later, we apologized together, and we're still friends. It's all good, whatever. But then, another story. And then another story, right? I met up with Alice Pagalion, and I saw him a couple months ago. And he said, congratulations to the Hall of Fame. I said, thank you. And he said something. He started talking with me. I knew he was going to start saying something to me. He said, I created you. You know that, right? I said, what do you mean? And he's like, well, after all the matches that we played, you would never be in the Hall of Fame because of me. I said, you know what? You're probably right. And I said, I want to thank you for that, too. Oh, I love him. He's a great guy. All right. This is pretty close to my last statement. I want to make sure I got everyone. Before I go on to my last statement, I want to mention Mark Griffin, Barry Berman. I appreciate all the love you gave to the players for having many tournaments in the U.S. My friends, I will miss you both, and as long as I live, you both will never be forgotten. And to my last statement here. Before I state my last statement, tonight I want to say this is unforgettable experience, something that I would never forget in my life, something that I wouldn't talk about forever, as long as I live. Personally, I want to thank you all for being here. Amen. And I'm telling you, it's unbelievable what I see here. I promise you, I would never forget this. And it's incredible, the most incredible feeling to be inducted into the Hall of Fame and what you've done to the sport. And it's just been amazing, really. So, thank you. To my last one. I'd like to close with some advice for the next generation of players. Life will always have an up and downs. We all must stay positive to move forward and to get better. Over my countless years of playing professional pool, I've learned a few certain truths. Life on the table and life off the table have one thing in common: choices. And I never forget this. I had this conversation with my grandfather when I was about 13, 14 years old, and I never forget this moment. It's the best advice I could have ever gotten for my whole life. On the pool table, we're not perfect, but we need to try to make the right choices to run out, get safe, win the game, or win the championships. Off the table, the odds are we won't be perfect either, but again, we must make the right choices. My grandfather and I had a conversation many, many years ago. Each of us decided every day when we wake up who we are going to be. Will you be successful? Will you be kind and generous to the people around you? Will you work hard? Will you be dedicated despite life up and downs? Make good choices, work hard, stay in shape, be thankful, and love the game. Remember, no matter where you go in pool, we always make memories together. Love and peace to you all. Amen, and thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Thank you.
All right. And so we've come to the end tonight. Obviously a fantastic night. I want to make sure that the Hall of Famers stay around because we're going to have a photo op for all of you, so don't take off. And for anybody else who wants to come up and take photos of all these Hall of Famers here, please come on do it. And so for the BCA, for the USBMA, for Mark, for Mike, for Shane, for all the sponsors, thank you, everybody. See you next year, 2025 BCA Hall of Fame, and have a great Moscone Cup weekend.